Welcome, everybody, back to the Board channel on YouTube. This is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. And on this channel, myself and Pips go live every weekday to provide you with NBA discussion and, of course, the best bets that you can make for the slate. We're out here on Friday looking to close off a profitable week here with 3 official picks coming your way. If you have been enjoying the show, as always, remember to give us a thumbs up on this video, help support the channel, help get us to some more recommended pages, and subscribe to the Board for more content like this. If you want more sports betting content, you can go to thehammer.bet as always. But for this one, just like the Jalen Brunson bet from a couple of days ago, there's a good price. We don't want it to move, so we're going to give it to you guys nice and early. Early gang gets this one. Tyler Hero over 17.5 points as they take on the Mavericks. Pips, why do you like this one, and why is it going to move quickly?
So we are betting Tyler Hero over 17.5 points, which is a minus 120 at FanDuel. So actually wasn't this on DraftKings and BetMGM. So it opened 18.5 on FanDuel and 17.5 on the BetMGM and DraftKings, and then switched. Like it went from 18 to 17 on FanDuel and from 17 to 18 at DraftKings, and I don't know why. It actually went like 18.5 on FanDuel, then dropped to the FanDuel minus 115 on the over. Then it moved minus 120 on over. I think it will close at 18.5 because it makes more sense. So Tyler Hero is over this line in 22 out of 31 games this season with 25 more minutes. That's 71% clear rate on this one. So that's like 71%, and this line is pretty huge. Also, his average over those 31 games in 21.8 points. So that's that's 4 points over this line. And the matchup is actually decent. It's not like they are playing Cleveland Cavaliers or Memphis Grizzlies. So we should worry about the matchups because there is no Christian Wood, so Adebayo will be in a tougher matchup. Dorian Finney-Smith is back. He's probably guarding Jimmy Butler. So I think Hero will have like the most usage in this game of the entire Miami Heat roster. And if he shoots like 17 or 18 times, this line should be easily to cover, maybe even lower. And yeah, just too low of a line for Tyler Hero, the guy that's constantly scoring 20 or more points. And we can see with his average like 21.8 points on the season, just a great spot.
So good stuff overall there. Reminder, guys, if you're coming in late, first bet is already here. Tyler Hero over 17.5 points, minus 120 on FanDuel. The Miami Heat in general, they've just quietly been climbing back up the Eastern Conference standings. Looked like a disastrous season was unfolding, but they're 25-21. Tyler Hero, a big reason why. Let's go to the other end of the Eastern Conference to recap the pick from yesterday's game. So good numbers on Killian Hayes and a little bit of added incentive. Maybe Killian Hayes playing in France, playing in his home country as the Bulls took on the Pistons in Paris. Killian Hayes did not have a good game. Unfortunately, he does get the assist. He did have the opportunities to get the points, but he goes 0 for 6 from 3, and I think it was 2 for 13 from the field. Pips, you want to sum up Killian Hayes in this game for us?
Yeah, I mean, the guy missed every wide open shot he took, and wasn't even close on any of these shots. It was like front end of the ring or a huge brick. And he was frustrated, and he was still going to shoot. And yeah, if he made like first 2 shots, I think he will end up scoring like 25 points in this game. But he started like 0 from 5 and then scored 2 and was 2 for 7 and then missed another 6 shots. Like if I take a look at the shot profile, I think he's getting the over like in 80% on this line. So yeah, nothing to do. Like he was in great shooting form over the last 10 games and just unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, they happen. Like sometimes these sort of bets happen, as we know on the show. Fortunately, this season has been quite good overall. Very good. 70-47 record, plus 15 units, 11.3% ROI. And we are going to keep moving today. We have the one pick already down. 2 more on the way a little bit later on in the show. But before we go into that, as always, we want to do some discussion pieces. People are speculating if Doncic would be involved because he's in the thumbnail. He will not be involved. The discussion today is about the Philadelphia 76ers, who are another team just keep on winning games. They are within a threat of challenging the top 2 in the Eastern Conference standing wise. They're a bit behind the Celtics, but as the Bucks continue to kind of be up and down, the Sixers keep winning. Joel Embiid has been sensational. A lot of seasons, this would be like an MVP type year, but there's just so many good players in the league this season. James Harden's playing well. They're spoiled for talent, really. Melton is starting. Maxi's coming off the bench in some games. Some games, maybe they'll keep PJ Tucker on the bench to start. There's so many things they can do, so much talent here. But I'm going to Pips. Do you think the 76ers, we knew they were going to have a good regular season. Do you think they're going to be able to translate this as well into playoff settings? And are they a legitimate contender based on the talent in the East?
Yes, they are, and if they just need to avoid Boston Celtics because matching up with them is terrible matchup for them. So I think they can win in every matchup besides Boston Celtics. Of course, they can win, but they are not in a great shape against the Celtics because we all know Horford against the Embiid was always working, and they have also Time Lord and no one to actually stop Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. So that matchup is like crazy difficult for them. But every other matchup is like they have a great chance to win. Like with the way Harden has one of the most efficient seasons with shooting. This season a little bit lower on free throw rate, but that's reasonable with everything going on. I saw like we have two top 10 guys in the league with Embiid and James Harden. And then we have Tyrese Maxey, I think one of the best young guys in the league. And he just can take over the games by himself. And then we have like Tobias Harris as the fourth option. When we look at their contract, his contract, like, of course, that's terrible. But if you have him as the fourth option, that's amazing. I think every team in the league will take Tobias Harris as the fourth scoring option, just not on that money. They have PJ Tucker, so some veteran like experience and the guy that can play some defense and a little bit motivation for the team to hustle more and bring some mental strength there. And then you have like guys like Melton, like he's amazing guy to like start and be the fifth scoring option or to defend. He's a great defender, like one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. And I won't say like top 5, but if you take a like top 10 or top 15, I think he can legit reasons to be there. And on the bench, nothing great, but we had Shake Milton playing like some when Embiid and Harden were out and Maxi. Shake Milton had like 15 points and on high efficiency on months, and on the season he's very efficient, scoring 10 points and giving you 3 assists of the bench, which is like legit. They have George Niang shooting the lights out of the bench, and you can always count on him to hit 3 to 4 shots of the bench and change the game entirely. So this team is like legit 8 players to play in the playoffs. They are not relying on some 3-point shooting or anything. They are getting to the line and they have great guys to do so. And I think if they continue starting Melton and they have Maxi coming off the bench, they are legit good. But if they start Maxi and Harden together, their defense is like very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But with Melton starting, they are in a great spot.
Okay. So you're probably not going to enjoy this piece of information I'm going to bring up. But like, you obviously are aware of James Harden. He's your favorite player. Does James Harden's track record in elimination games worry you as it comes to the 76ers actually making a challenge for a championship?
I think there is a bit narrative there because like everyone's talking about, like, if you take a look at his elimination games number, you will be surprised. Like if you take
I'm looking at him. I'm surprised in not a good way here.
I
okay.
actually look.
Let me pull some up before, like, to
Okay.
preface this. So I have his last 9 elimination games. It's slightly cherry picked here because the 3 before that were all wins because they came back from 3-1 down against the Clippers. That being said, his last 9 elimination games, his teams have 1 win, 8 losses. He shoots 40% from the field in those 9 games, 25% from 3 in those games. There's some really good games in there, but there's a lot of games he goes hiding, namely the most recent one against the Miami Heat, where he gets 11 points. And unbelievably, after the game, he was asked why he only took how many shots in that game? 9 shots. He took 9 shots against the Heat last year. And he said, the ball just never came to me. You are James Harden. You get the ball. You demand the ball from your teammates. So I agree. Some of it is a little bit narrative based, and it's kind of the meme on James Harden, but I still struggle to have confidence that he can really rise up to that occasion. Do you kind of see some different? And stats don't always tell the full story, but these are a little bit alarming to me.
I would say these are like cherry picked a bit because
For sure.
some of this is like in the games when he played with the Bucks, completely obvious he was injured.
Yeah.
Like the last season, he also had some injury before the playoffs and didn't look great in the playoffs. But if you take a look at the season before, like his Boston Celtics series before the injury, like he was great. He was playing great against the Celtics in the first round. In not last year, but the year before, and I'm like watching him like since he got to the Houston Rockets, and of course he had some terrible games in the elimination games, but he had some great games too. And if you take an average numbers before this injury, like if you take away like last 2 seasons, his numbers actually look pretty good. Like
fair enough,
nothing crazy, but not hard and choker. But I mean, like when you play in the West and going against the Golden State Warriors is all the time, like that's difficult. And yeah, I'm not with the Harden choker. Also, the series against with Russell Westbrook at Houston Rockets, when they got out. I think that was
the
like
Lakers.
Was that like 2019, 2021, 2020?
Yeah,
he was. I think that he was actually great in that series in those players that year. Like
he was. Yeah,
it was just Russell Westbrook like playing hurt and nothing to do there. Like if you take a look at his numbers in that season, he was like 30 points and 8 assists on like above average through shooting. Like I'm just. I think the way he looked this season and the way he's efficient this season, he can actually produce in the playoffs.
Okay, that interesting. I think there is some validity to the James Harden in elimination games sort of narrative that's building. I think a lot of it is overblown, but I do think there is some truth to it. So I want to extend this past James Harden now because I think James Harden took a lot of heat for that. I didn't mean, for lack of a better term, he took a lot of heat for that performance against Miami in that series. I didn't excuse the pun there. Joel Embiid is also a player who, under the radar, does not perform in elimination games. He has played in 8 in his career. He's 3-5 in those 8 elimination games. He shoots. This is Joel Embiid. He averages 40% shooting in those 8 elimination games. He averages, solid points. And, Joel Embiid has gotten better as the career's gone on. 23 points, but he's inefficient in these games. He has definitely struggled in some recently. I think that there's not enough stock that goes into Joel Embiid in these sorts of games. And, last season there was the injury, the face injury that probably played a part to it. And granted, these are all small sample sizes because how many elimination games are you really playing in your career? But I think that's what really separates and defines a player's legacy because it's such a small sample size. Can you rise up in those specific games? Do you put any stock into those sort of things? Because this Joel Embiid one, I kind of looked up because I feel like he gets a pass here. Do you put any stock into this sort of information?
Yeah, I mean, it was also the matchups that he was playing game 7 and elimination games. Like
Mm.
it was always like, I don't know, like it was like Marc Gasol, Toronto, you guys, like that's like the worst nightmare matchup for Embiid. Like he had
Yep.
once, I remember he had like 0 points in entire game against you
Yep.
guys. Like
Yep.
yeah, that's the best defense you can have. So if you that number will just like deflate other numbers and make it look worse than it is. Like, and
That's
there
right.
is like it was always like some very very difficult spot. And when you are big and you are 5, it's not the same as when you are a guard. Like when it's a matchup, when it's the deep playoff run, it's always easier to work your defense against the bigs than it's like against the guards.
Yeah.
Like so yeah, when you have like entire team preparing for you and doing everything to stop you, and you are a big, that's difficult to have a huge numbers. And also, this could be our first season that we get to the playoffs with probably there is still time for them to get injured, but this is probably the first season that we could have after a while healthy Embiid and healthy James Harden in the playoffs. And when you add healthy Tyrese Maxey, Melton, Harris, Tucker, yeah, I think they can win against anybody, especially in the West. Like there is no team that they don't have a chance on the West. But it's there. There is one team, and that's Boston Celtics. That yeah, just a nightmare matchup for them. Like you can put Smart on James Harden, and you can put Time Lord and Horford, two guys on Embiid, and you can leave PJ Tucker to shoot wide open the entire night. And yeah, nothing to. That's not just a terrible matchup. But I mean, besides Boston Celtics, I can see them winning against any team in the league.
Makes sense. I agree. I think they will get stopped by the Celtics at that point, but I think they have they certainly are capable of winning a championship this
But
season.
Celtics could lose against the Cavs or against the healthy Brooklyn Nets. So
Right.
there's
It's
that.
playoffs
Yeah.
are going to be wild in the East this
Yeah.
year. There's
It's a
5
matchup
really
based.
good
It's a matchup based. So yeah.
So it'd be interesting. I just think I kind of want to bring that up because I feel like Embiid gets a pass in these sort of settings for whatever reason.
Yeah, but the last 2 seasons were like by far the best seasons of his career. And
For sure.
yeah, we should.
So
Yeah,
you need a bit more of a sample on a player, but
yeah, but also I just want to talk before we move out. So
sure.
I don't know how many times you watched the 76ers this season, but James Harden playing with Embiid, that opens up like so much for Embiid. Like previous seasons, Embiid was just okay. You
With Simmons.
post up and you can double him. Now he's playing pick and roll, and James Harden is one of the best pick and roll players in the entire league. So when he like you can stop him. If you try to double him when he gets the ball in the moving, that's free throws. Like if you back off and let him shoot, that's wide open mid range. Like there is no way to stop Joel Embiid for scoring 30 every game. Like it's even I know you remember the game against the Raptors. Like they did everything they could to stop him. He still scored like 35 points. Like very efficient.
Yep.
So yeah, this season James Harden just opens up a ton for him, and I hated him when he was just posting up every entire game. Like if the team has a good big with size and they double team him down there, he just need to pass out and let Matisse Thybulle shoot, like or Ben Simmons. Like he was just surrounded with no shooters, and the players could double team him every time because he was posting up. But now it's a completely different story, and I just think upside is so huge.
Makes sense. I think a lot of where Embiid can find success this season of playoffs is how James Harden plays, because there were some games, like I always remember the Raptors series really well, where like the Raptors were guarding James Harden really heavily, kind of treating him like, his Houston scoring days. So when they eased off a bit, I think the Raptors had a bit more success. And then it got to like game 6. And at that point, James Harden was really engaged, really on in that game. And you can't stop both of them if they're both engaged like that. So I think both of them, if they have a good playoff run, this Sixers team can go very far. All right, let's move now into the official pick segment of the show. Second pick here involved Grizzlies at the Lakers, a rare money line involved on this same game parlay.
So we are betting Grizzlies to win and Ja Morant to score over 24.5 points, which is minus 120 at DraftKings. Yeah, I just don't see the Lakers staying up in this one. Like, they actually won quite some games lately. Like, over the last yeah, over the last 11 games, they won 7, but they actually lost 4 out of the last 5. So yeah, like they had some run, but I think that's like, yeah, it happens. But if you take a look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they are killing everyone in front of them. Like, I don't know how many, but like 11 straight wins. Like, I think it's there. Like 11 straight wins for the Memphis Grizzlies. That's just great, and they won against the great teams. They won, like, it's not like only playing bad terrible teams. They won like against some great teams, and they are healthy. They are the number one defense in the league since Jaren Jackson Jr. came back, and it's but by quite some margin. I would say like amazing. They have Ja Morant, Desmond Bain finally back and shooting the lights out again. I think he shot 40, 50 or more percent from the three in like 6 straight games. He is just
Wow.
yeah. It's Desmond Bain. Like, when he's healthy, he's probably top 5 shooters in the entire league, maybe even higher.
Easily. I think he's like top 2, 3, man.
Yeah, and that's just crazy. And the shot difficulty is also crazy. He's not shooting just these like spot up shots. He is pulling up some step backs and everything, like everything mixed in. And Ja Morant, obviously unstoppable, dunking on everyone and killing people, like amazing. And then you have like Dylan Brooks on a bit lower usage, which is helpful, like super helpful when they have Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain, and Ja Morant. To have Dylan Brooks as the fourth scoring option instead of 2, like that's huge for this team. If you can have Dylan Brooks on the team shooting 10 times a night, like that's a huge win, because what he brings on the other side of the court is like amazing. It's a all defensive defense, all kind. I think he deserves to be all defensive, like this season, like easily. Dylan Brooks, and another all defensive guy, and I would say defensive player of the year candidate,
Yes.
Jaren Jackson Jr. Just unbelievable defense. That's just out of the world. And then you have Steven Adams inside, like a big, strong dude that won't give anything easily up, that will just box out, rebound. I just don't see it. Like, especially with Lakers playing Thomas Bryant at 5. Like, you have Jaren Jackson Jr. and Dylan Brooks to stop LeBron James, and who else is going to score? Like,
Nobody.
yeah, Russell Westbrook. Yeah, I don't think so. Like, he will score, but not efficient, and I don't think they can win this. So also, there is no one to stop Ja Morant. Like, you don't have Thomas Bryant doesn't offer you some great rim protection there, so not a great big there. And also, there is no point of attack defender that is able to stop Ja Morant. So if in the Lakers play high pace, which is very suitable for Ja Morant quickness. So I just like this combined for a bit lower line on Ja Morant in the case of the blowout. But yeah, just love. Ja Morant has a great, huge game. I think Memphis win this, because I don't have doubts in Desmond Bain having a great game, and Jaren Jackson Jr. And they have actually great bench also, because with so many guys missing time this season, they had time to play as the starters and getting some minutes, and they were great. And now they are in a smaller role, but they show that they can bring something in. And they have Tyus Jones, probably one of the most underrated players in the entire league.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I think they're like sixth best player would be like second or third best player on the Lakers. So yeah,
The Grizzlies have done a phenomenal job of just finding so many guys that contribute to the team on a nightly basis. and are comfortable contributing in those roles. You're saying, like, you could say the sixth best player on the Grizzlies might be the second best the Lakers. The guys, whoever it is, they're happy to play that role for the Grizzlies. They're happy to be a part of the unit that they've built here. So many young players, so many good contracts because guys are so young. And, John Moran is sensational. Jaren Jackson Jr. was top of the most recent DPOY ladder. Desmond Bane, I think you're underselling him. I think he's a top 3 shooter in the NBA. He could be top 2, only behind Curry, debatably. So this is just a phenomenal team.
Buddy Hield.
11 in a row. Buddy Hield? Sure. Okay. He's up. He's easily up there. He's easily up there. I mean, top 5 is nothing bad either. That's still quite good, of course. But
sure.
Everything you said. The Grizzlies are amazing.
You're one interesting fact. So the Lakers' last game against the Kings without Sabonis, so they were probably the worst defense in the league. So I'm just reading the starters now. LeBron James 32 points. Beverly, 3 points. Dennis Schroeder, 5 points. Troy Brown Jr., 4 points. Thomas Bryant, 8 points. So we had 5 starters, 4 out of the 5 starters in single-digit numbers. It's LeBron or doing everything, and I don't think he will be able to do it tonight against this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a good spot. All right, let's go to the third official play of the day. Reminder, we had Tyler Hero over on 17.5 points earlier on in the show, but the third official play involves the Warriors and the Cavaliers.
So we are betting Steph Curry to score over 24.5 points and Darius Garland to have over 5.5 assists, which is minus 120 at BetMGM. So there is no, probably, Klay Thompson is doubtful for this game. And I don't know, when you have Klay Thompson doubtful, that's 25 shots less on the team, at least 20. And Steph Curry, last game, they played back-to-back against the Wizards. And Steph played 38 minutes in a back-to-back game and scored 41 points. So, of course, Wizards and Cleveland are not the same, but they played earlier this season, and Steph scored 40 points against the Cleveland. So if you need to pick one player in the entire league that's similar to Steph Curry, who are you choosing?
One player
that's close, similar to
Are you kind of trying to get me to say Garland here?
No, I'm just trying to say Damian Lillard.
Oh, interesting. I guess, just because the range, the shooting they bring.
Yeah,
I see it. Yeah.
Crazy running, and especially this season when they moved Damian Lillard more in off the ball action. And right. What's interesting, what is interesting about that spot, because a week ago Damian Lillard scored 50 on this Cleveland team.
Yeah.
So if you get the similar player to Steph Curry scoring 50, we will agree that Steph Curry is better. So I just love this spot. Okoro is a great guy with muscle, but when he needs to run around through the screens and it was interesting in the last game. I remember exactly he was trying to deny the ball to the Steph Curry, and just did couple of times fake movement and got wide open three possessions in a row, and Okoro was what can I do? What was this phase? And I love Okoro defense, but I don't think he is able to stop Steph Curry, because I will say Okoro defense, on ball defense is amazing, but when he needs to just run around following Steph Curry, I don't see it. And with playing 2 bigs, and Golden State is actually going smaller in this game. They are starting Draymond Green at 5. There is no Looney anymore, so I just love the spacing and everything for Steph Curry in this game.
Yeah, makes sense.
And part, obviously, Darius Garland. I think we betted this the last time the Garland was playing the last game, and he covered it pretty easily. It was the game with Pelicans. And Darius Garland, I think he cleared this line in 17 out of 18 games at home. And we now have Donovan Mitchell questionable for this game, and if he is out, Garland will have like
Smash that.
10 or more assists. The last game against the Memphis Grizzlies, he had 14 assists without Donovan Mitchell.
What was the game we bet Garland? You bet Garland assists where you
yeah, it was against the Pelicans when he had CJ McCollum and Darius Garland.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and he had 11 assists in that game. So
yeah,
we are pretty good with Garland assists this is.
Yeah. So there's the play. Steph Curry. Wait, Curry's in full flow. You can't even guard him. Did you see that half court? I'm sure you saw it. You saw it. Yeah. Curry from half court yesterday. This guy's unbelievable. It's not even shocking. Curry scores half court. Yeah. That's what
but he actually had one of the worst shooting games of the season last night.
It was
9 for 25, and he still ended up scoring 29 points. So he's that efficient.
He can smash this line. All right, let's recap it to end off your week. 3 official bets in play. First of all, Heat at Mavericks. Tyler Hero over 17.5 points, -120 at FanDuel. Hopefully that's still up for you guys.
It's -1. It's -128 now.
Would you recommend that, or would you ignore this?
Yeah, -128. It's just too juiced for me. Like you need to win 70%, 60% there to have. Yeah.
Well, we hope you guys tuned in live so you could get this one early, but this was up there when we released it. -120 at FanDuel for that one. And we apologize if it's no longer there. Tune in live. Second play, Grizzlies at Lakers. Grizzlies money line paired with Ja Morant over 24.5 points, also known as 25 plus points. That is -120 at DraftKings. Third play, Warriors at Cavs. Steph Curry over 24.5 points paired with Darius Garland over 5.5 assists. -120 at BetMGM. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the shows this week. If you've been enjoying them, you've been cashing with the picks, make sure you smash that like button, and also make sure you're subscribed to the board for more basketball content just like this. We go live right here, myself and Pips, every weekday around 11:15 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time when the picks can be when the picks are correct for you guys to tail. And the Hammer, make sure you go check out thehammer.bet for more sports betting content. Go to the Forward Progress YouTube channel right now as there's an NFL divisional round breakdown going on live right now. It started 10 minutes ago. Go tune in. Forward Progress on YouTube. Myself and Pips, though, we'll see you Monday. I'll be in Vegas on Monday, by the way. I'll be doing a show live from Vegas Monday and Tuesday. But I still will be here bright and early Las Vegas time for more from Pick and Roll.